You are now listening to Season 3 of the VMX Show. Hey now, welcome to Season 3, Episode 12 of the VMX Show. This is the season finale. You guys are not going to hear from me for 6 weeks. Well, you will, of course. There'll be regular videos and everything like that, but no VMX Show. Although we will have something going on with the VMX Show, and I'll explain that near the end of this show. Oh, man, it's interesting. Usually when I do a season finale, I've done 3 seasons so far, obviously. I'm coming towards it with the mentality of, thank fuck that's done with. Because usually by the end, or at least it was in Season 1 and 2, I'm just so sick of it that I need that break. But in this case, I'm going to miss it. This was the best season yet. I had a lot of fun doing it. Got a lot more participation. Just want to thank everybody out there who listens to and supports the show, sends me questions and comments, and just everybody that listens. Also thanking YouTube for allowing unlimited uploads on my account, which allowed me to reach a wider audience. So that's going to be cool. I was agonizing, not really agonizing, but it was on my mind all week of what song to open the last show of the season, that is. And I was like, I want something really epic and kind of cool, a lot of people haven't necessarily heard before. And then it hit me. So that's a song called Baba Yetu. It was from Civilization 4, Sid Meier's Civilization 4 for the PC. An amazing, amazing game. If you're at all into strategy games, that's the one to get. That is the only video game song written for a video game, because it was specifically written for Civilization 4, to ever win a Grammy, which is really interesting, because that's not something you hear about too often. But Baba Yetu did indeed win a lot of awards, including a Grammy. And let me see, I have the information right here. Yeah, it was the 53rd Annual Grammy Awards, and it won. It was the first video game piece to ever receive Grammy recognition, and just earlier this year, it made history yet again as the first video game piece to ever win an award for Best Instrumental Arrangement Accompanying Vocalists. And if you're worried about the lyrics they're in Swahili, and it's actually like the Lord's Prayer. If you're like Catholic or Christian or whatever, you're probably familiar with that. But that's what it sounds like in Swahili and sung in a video game. So if you haven't checked out Civilization 4, you should definitely look into that, because it's a great game. Of course, there's a Civilization 5 now, but I haven't actually played it. Some people are saying it's even better. Some people are saying 4 was better. You know how it is. I got so much show for you. I got an insane amount of news. I got questions and comments. I got an interview with Joe. You guys might remember Joe from the John and Joe show, which sometime before the heat death of the universe, we'll hopefully do a second season of that. It was originally going to be done in tandem with the VMX show. If you remember, the first season of the John and Joe show was in between seasons 1 and 2 of the VMX show. But that hasn't worked out perfectly, so we'll see what happens. So it's going to be a shorter break than usual. Usually I take 8 weeks off. It's actually going to be 6 weeks off, because I'm looking forward to getting back into the groove of things. I'll be working on other stuff. Maybe I'll hopefully get that fucking History of Zelda started. Well, finished is what I should say, because it's more than started. I'm like halfway through it. But anyway, let's get to your questions and comments. Like I said, I got a lot of show. I'm not even going to try and get it in under an hour, because I just know it's not going to fucking happen today. So let's get this done. Let's see your questions and comments. Mr. Lover of Ganja says, excluding rhythm-based games, what video game do you think has the best music? Ooh, I'm going to just go with the old standby, Castlevania Symphony of the Night. I could be wrong. There might be something better, but that's what comes to my mind right away. Mr. Sandman J. Okay. I can never get this guy's name right, so I'm going to do it right. Finally. Here we go. Mr. Sandman XJ9 says, I really like Oblivion, and I wanted to... I think he means wanted. That word was butchered. Spelled it WHAT apostrophe D. I don't know what he's trying to say. I think wanted. I wanted to ask you, what other Elder Scrolls game would you recommend? Also, could you give a brief description of it? Oh, man, I've been through this already. I don't want to give a big, long, detailed answer, because I've so talked about this like a million times. Morrowind. You want to get Morrowind. And as for a brief description of it, I mean... listen to the rest of the season. I don't really want to get into it. Oblivion is very much like a refined version of Morrowind. I prefer Morrowind's tone, story, and just the overall atmosphere of it. But Oblivion has better gameplay. It's basically the same type of thing. Jazzmaster909 says, hey Necro, nice show. What do you like more, the classic sprite-based first-person shooters like Doom and Duke Nukem, or the new graphical powerhouses like Halo and Quake 3? Thank you so much. Quake 3 is a graphical powerhouse? I don't think so, man. That's an old one. Maybe you meant Quake 4, but yeah, I like good first-person shooters, and I really don't worry about whether they're new or they're old. I mean, obviously, I'm a big fan of Doom. I'm a big fan of Quake. I enjoy Duke Nukem 3D, so it may seem like I have an affinity for the older ones, especially since I don't play Halo. I don't play Crysis. That's what you should have used as an example of a graphical powerhouse. I don't play a lot of the new ones, but I do play newer ones. So I really don't have a preference where they have to be, older sprite-based games. Honestly, I do like Doom a hell of a lot. and I'm looking forward to Doom 4. So I really have to say, both. The Moogle Master says, what is your opinion on the Sega Master System? Was it really better than the NES, which I find hard to believe, since most of the games seem like worse versions of NES games? There's a few games I hear are pretty good. I don't know where you get that idea. As for being better, it had better graphics. That's about it. It definitely had a better graphics chip. The sound wasn't as good, which is why you don't really know many classic songs from the Master System. As for the games, they weren't really worse versions or really versions at all. I mean, there were some games that were similar to NES games, like, what's that game? That Golden Axe Warrior is very similar to Zelda. Some people even say it's better than Zelda. I disagree on that. But certainly the graphics are better. The thing is that the Master System wasn't like a huge thing because Nintendo had a policy then that if you made games for their system, you couldn't make games for other systems, something that they couldn't get away with today, or nobody can get away with that today. But back then they totally got away with it, and that's why you don't see a lot of classics from, like Capcom or Konami or Square, and it's a lot of Sega games, obviously, and smaller companies making games for the Master System. But yeah, I mean, if you like the Game Gear is actually like the same exact thing. It's literally the Master System hardware put into a handheld form. So that's basically the same exact thing right there. So hope that's a sufficient answer for you. Haven't played enough Master System games to really, have too much of an opinion on it. Let's see what else we got. Bruno BB1 just says Necro's the man. No, you the man. CoolVids19 says, I have a PS3 and PSP, but I don't have any way to put stuff on there for PSN. Really? All you need is an access point. I mean, you might need an account, but that's easy enough. I think it's free to make an account on PSN, and then all you got to do is, it's Wi-Fi. You could be in a situation like I am with Xbox Live, where it's like, okay, because people ask me about why I'm not able to get online with the Xbox. It's because I have the old Pro model of the Xbox, the 20 gig model, which does not have a Wi-Fi adapter at all. It's only wired. And the modem's clear on the other side of the house, which is nowhere near the Xbox or nowhere near a television, and everything in the house that's internet is wired. So there's no way to really hook it up. I've been thinking about, getting that wireless adapter, but it is expensive. The thing about PSN, though, is if you have the PSP, which is Wi-Fi enabled, you just go anywhere that has... you can go to fucking McDonald's or Starbucks and get on their Wi-Fi and download your PSN stuff. So I really don't see how you don't have the ability. It might be a pain in the ass with the PS3, but with the PSP, you could take that thing anywhere. Go to a friend's house. Go to Starbucks. It don't matter, Alright, let's see what else we got. CyberShocker455. Yeah, last week he asked me, do I accept question for the show or some weird thing like that. He says, sorry for the noobish question. I'm still sort of new to your show. I'll try to ask you something much more interesting and original. Well, when? Season's over. Should have just asked me right there. Cobra DVS says, okay, great show. Really good way for me to kill an hour on the road. Thanks. My question is, what are some of your favorite Dreamcast games? I have a few, Sonic Adventure, Crazy Taxi, etc., but I'm looking for some of the really fun ones. Thanks. Well, I'm a big fan of fighting games, and back in the day, if you were a fan of fighting games, the Dreamcast was the system to have. It had Marvel vs. Capcom 2. It had Capcom vs. SNK. You can get Capcom vs. SNK 2 for it, although that you'd have to import it or download it or something. But that's the great thing about Dreamcast is due to the open Windows CE operating system that it had, you could play, it was region free and it played backup games fine. What else would I recommend you? Sonic Adventure was good. If you really like Sonic Adventure a lot, you really, really liked it, I'd say get Sonic Adventure 2, but Sonic Adventure 2 is clearly not as good as the original. So, maybe, I don't know. But then again, you can get that for GameCube or whatever also, so it's not like it's a Dreamcast exclusive. What else did I play? I had the Spider-Man game for the Dreamcast, but then again, that's also on PS1 and N64. A lot of the games were on other systems, which I think was actually part of the problem with the Dreamcast. I had NFL 2K1 I miss the Sega Sports games. I thought the Sega Sports was far superior to the EA Sports games, which are the only ones that have the fucking NFL license now. So there's that. And what else did I have for the Dreamcast? I had Street Fighter 3 also. I mean, like I said, I love fighting games. So there's a few for you. You might want to look into those. Moving on. Razarath92 says, Necro, what's the weirdest thing that's ever happened to you? Me personally, I woke up in a pool of my own piss wearing women's makeup. Wow, dude. You must have had a fun night the night before. But, damn. Pool of your own piss, women's makeup. I assume your friends did that to you. I can't say I've had anything like that happen to me. I guess that's not really weird. That's just kind of what happens when you get drunk and you pass out and, you know, there's a bunch of guys around that want to laugh at you. I mean, you're lucky. I mean, they could have shaved your eyebrows or drawn all over you with a Sharpie. So you got lucky there. But no, I haven't had anything like that happen. The weirdest thing that's ever happened to me... well, I mean, I guess, you know, I told this story already. I guess my car just, like, the transmission of my car just randomly exploding for no reason is probably one of the weirdest things that's ever happened to me. I haven't been able to give this a lot of thought because I've been busy. But that was very strange because it was out of nowhere, and when I asked the mechanic what he thinks caused the problem, and he basically said, I don't know. So, that was pretty weird. But you're looking for, like, surreal weird, aren't you? I don't know. I'm gonna have to pass on that question. I'm gonna have to just not really. I don't want to sit here for like 5 minutes. So I'm gonna move on. The Big MC 109 says, "Do you enjoy like Chinese?" I think you got to pick enjoy or like. You can't use both. So I'm gonna pick enjoy. Do you enjoy Chinese food? I like the sesame seeds in it to give it more flavor with chicken, but maybe you like pork or fried rice with General Tso's sauce. I love Chinese food. Love it. Crab rangoon, General Tso's chicken, their barbecue spare ribs, Orshi duck, Peking duck, if you can get it for an affordable price, is absolutely amazing. I had it in New Jersey once for only $13. That was fucking spectacular. Egg foo young, I mean, fried rice, white rice, egg rolls, spring rolls, all that shit. You know, Singapore style mei fun, man. That's one of my favorites right there. I love Chinese food. Don't get it too often, though. But I do love it. CoolVids19. Oh, okay, hold on. I got to back up. It seems like some people had a bit of a conversation here. Berto BB1 says, what do you think of the God of War fanboys saying that Lords of Shadow is a ripoff, even though there were already 3D hack-and-slash Castlevania games for the N64 and PS2? And before I answer that, let's see what SJSM1 said. I like God of War very much, but I also like Lords of Shadow. I like the story from both, and in Lords of Shadow they added stuff like the light and dark magic, and even so they borrowed from a great game that has great mechanics so that their game would be much better. What ain't broke, don't fix. And then CoolVids19 said, it is similar to God of War with the hell levels and similar storyline, but Dante's Inferno is more of a ripoff. Okay, my opinion is that to call Lords of Shadows a ripoff of God of War is kind of silly, because God of War is very much a ripoff of a game for the PlayStation 2 called Devil May Cry. And Devil May Cry was very much based on Castlevania. These types of games have been around for a long time. God of War just happens to be the most prominent and popular series out there of the 3D hack-and-slash genre. But really, I mean, you know, it's not that big. I mean, there are elements of other games in there, too. There are elements of Shadows of the Colossus, Shadow of the Colossus. There's elements of Prince of Persia in there, and, of course, Castlevania. Games borrow from each other all the time. The only kind of ripoff that really bothers me is a cheap ripoff, and Castlevania Lords of Shadow is anything but cheap. So there's what I think of that. Deluxe Dookie says, the next Nintendo controller is going to be an Android phone, LOL. No. It's not going to be an Android phone. It's going to have a screen on it, at least according to the current rumors. We don't know if that's, true. People have said it's confirmed, but I maintain my skepticism until I see it, possibly at E3. He also says HVD, The next disc media for the near future, 4000p TVs. What are you talking about? Alright, I'm going to move on. Splashfire OX says, hey Necro, I can't wait for the next Nintendo system. It's going to be kick-ass. Anyway, do you think there should be a sequel to Super Mario Sunshine? What? There was. It's called Super Mario Galaxy. That's the next game in the series. It's weird. Alright. So maybe you're thinking, like, should there be another game like Super Mario Sunshine? I say no. It was a very unique game, and I enjoyed it a lot, but I wouldn't necessarily use that mechanic again, you know, with the flood and whatnot. Nettlebox says, to clarify the Nintendo 3DS story, I understand that hers was in the closet, so you're saying the husband switched his 3DS with his girlfriend's and that's how it showed up. No, I'm saying he had the girlfriend over and possibly he gave her the 3DS there. I don't understand why this is so hard to get. Alright, I don't understand why that's so hard to understand. If you have a 3DS sitting in a closet, it's going to pick up anything in that vicinity. So if he has, like, another woman over and she has her console with her, especially if he gave her the console, that's why it would be there, then obviously the wife's one would pick up on it. I don't know if this story is fake. You're saying it was confirmed. I've seen that, but, you know, who knows? Who knows? It doesn't matter to me. It's a funny story, and it absolutely is believable. It could happen. Maybe it didn't happen, but I don't think it fucking matters. Why are we still talking about this? Nightwing45304 says, yeah, that was a derp moment for me. I don't remember what your question is, so you're automatically forgiven. Are you a fan of Dynasty Warriors games? Been playing Dynasty Warriors Advanced myself. Now, I've never played those, so I can't really say I'm a fan or not a fan. DJ Big MC asks, who's your favorite Mortal Kombat character? That's an easy one. It's Sub-Zero. Nobody beats Sub-Zero. Monk237 says, since you're a man of great musical taste, are you into Ed Guy or Gamma Ray? Yeah, I like Ed Guy a lot. Gamma Ray, not so much. I mean, they're okay. But Ed Guy, I definitely enjoy. Gamma Ray, actually, they had a new album out, didn't they? Let me look in my little music thing here. I think I have one of their latest albums sitting around here somewhere, and that I enjoyed that quite a lot. Let's see. Do I have Gamma Ray on this list of albums from this year? That was Evergrey. Okay, never mind. Never mind that. I seem to remember hearing something recently from them that I kind of enjoyed, but yeah, in the past I hadn't enjoyed Gamma Ray so much. Ed Guy's really good, though. Fibonacci says, great answer for my question. Started Dragon Age yesterday, and man, I'm blown away. First session was 4 to 5 hours. Oh man, I know that pain. I've been there. The story and characters come much more to life in Oblivion, and the combat is much more epic, intense, and difficult. I tend to wonder how the console version differs from the PC version, because in the PC version, if you don't pause the game in battle and queue up strong abilities and spells, you die. Mouse over Dragon Age icon double clicks. Yeah, I already answered you on the page, but I figured I'd answer you here too. The console version is a bit different, as it has a radial menu for all the abilities and shit, so you just press, like, for example, on Xbox 360, you press the left trigger and it brings up the menu, and then you can select your abilities and stuff. And that does pause it. But also it has quick buttons that you can set 6 to your main character, which, you know, you can pause less, so you can set abilities. I know in the PC version, you can have like a bar of abilities on the bottom of the screen, but if you're not fast, yeah, you could be in trouble. Yeah, Dragon Age Origins, very good game. This is a weird one. I don't understand what this person is smoking, but yeah, what is, you know what? I'm gonna skip this. I'm gonna skip this weirdness. I'm not even gonna read that. Let's move on to the next one. CoolVids19 says, "Hey Necro, do you know this Goofy and Max game for Super NES? Because I need to know the name. That was the first game I beat with my dad, so nostalgia." Well, it was Goof Troop, which was the name of the show they were in, and yeah, that was definitely Goof Troop. CoolVids19 also asked, do I support hackers in any way? No. I mean, yeah, if they're hacking into like a game or something, a show is cool shit, but if you mean like they're hacking into like other people's computers or like, you know, government databases or whatever, I don't support that. It's a very vague question. Fibonacci says, some other dude recommended The Witcher. I read a review, it sounded great. Did you play it? No, but I've heard good things from people who have played it, so I guess check it out. Dave Cornfence says, great episode, man. Sad to hear next week will be the end of the season. Great to hear news on the Wii 2. No, it's not called the Wii 2. Project Cafe, that's what we're calling it right now. Rumor is right now that Nintendo's looking at the name Stream, which is a pretty cool name, but don't call it Wii 2, they don't like that. The screen on the controller sounds cool, especially streaming games on it, which I think is why they want to call it Stream. That more or less makes it a console and a handheld, which is true, yeah. I think that's also kind of what Sony's going for with the PS3 and the NGP. Oh, that's me talking. Okay, let me go back to what he says. Also, nice to hear that it's going to be really powerful because I hate hearing assholes talking about how bad the Wii graphics are. Personally, I don't care about graphics as long as the gameplay is good. Amen. And that's what matters. They are called games, after all. I think the people who... And I look at the Wii graphics and they look fine to me. I mean, they're not as good as, like, PS3, but they don't look bad. I think what it is, a lot of these people get HD TVs, and when you blow up the Wii's graphics on an HD TV, it doesn't look nearly as good as it would look on a standard definition television. So I think that's what their problem is. Josie Greg says, of all the Mortal Kombat games for the GameCube, which would you recommend? Deception. Mortal Kombat Deception. That was really cool. The Old Game Channel says, what's the worst song you ever heard? Man, you know what? That answer has actually changed from when you posted it to today. I would have said it was that Rebecca Black Friday thing that's been all over the place, and that's the worst song I ever heard. But actually, I heard a song yesterday called Smell Yo Dick. And it's about a girl who thinks her boyfriend is cheating on her, and she wants to smell his dick. It's the worst fucking song ever. Also, if you've ever heard of a band called Broken Side, anything they've done is automatically the worst thing in the history of all stuff. Here's another thing from Mr. Sandman XJ. Oh, actually, no. Okay, that's the same question. Guys, you don't have to send me like a fucking 2 messages. 1 is good enough. Payotai, haven't heard from him in a little while. He says, I can't wait from Season 4. The season was great, and I'm looking forward to more. I took your advice and bought Dragon Quest IX. It was worth every $1. I've hardly put it down during my spare time. Thanks again. Yeah, I actually haven't done, like, all of the stuff in that game, because after I beat it, there's so much... There's so many extra missions, and some of them are story-based, and some of them involve a lot of going into the grottos, and, I mean, I had to stop. I said I could either play this game for the next 3 years, because that's what it felt like it was going to be, or I can move on. So it's definitely a lot of game. And finally, Jay Smith says, regarding Sonic Generations, even though the modern Sonic stages are going to use the Unleashed and Colors style of gameplay, how do you feel about the return of the classic Sonic design and the fact the stages will be in 2D and play blah, 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 blah. I'm sorry, I can't get through this. I don't care. If it's Sonic, I lost interest like fucking 5 years ago. It's really, 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 it's beyond me. I'm glad that some people are going to enjoy it, that they're saying this is a better return to form than Sonic 4, and that it feels more like the Genesis games, or blah, 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 blah. I don't even play those games anymore. I don't have any interest in it. I lost interest in Sonic like 5 years ago, and it's not coming back, I'm sorry to say. There's just so many other games to play. So, that's it for question and comments. Yeah. We got the news coming up. We got an interview with Joe. We got the sales figures. We got a lot of fucking show, but let's get to the news right now. Okay, so I have a lot of news here. So let's just get through it. Some of it's very interesting. First off, file this one under some of the worst ideas ever, and this is on the pile of that. Microsoft is going to change how Xbox Live games are rated. Of course, you know about the ESRB ratings and whatnot. Now it's all going to be done by computers. This is the craziest thing I've ever heard. Basically, I don't know how it works, if it's like a algorithm or something, but they're going to be rating games on content and quality on Xbox Live Arcade, but it's going to be done by computers. They're also changing how games are rated in terms of quality. That's also changing. This one's kind of a better idea. Here's what Microsoft had to say about it. We've heard your feedback and have made some changes to the rating systems on Xbox.com. Starting today, only users with Xbox Live Gold subscriptions will be allowed to rate content on the Xbox.com website. So, there's that also. But the ESRB thing, oh man, that's a bad idea. From what I understand, it's still in the planning stages, but that can't lead anywhere good. Some news about The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 3D. It will feature a boss rush mode. If you're unfamiliar with that, it's where you basically fight all the bosses back to back. The Master Quest will be included. Here, let me talk about the boss challenge mode, actually. Basically, players will battle the dungeon bosses individually or in successive battle royale tournament style, ending with Ganondorf. This mode will be activated at an undisclosed point in the game, so you don't know. It's sort of an extra thing to those who may have already played the game, a lot, which is most of you, I think. Yes, the Master Quest, which is a harder, kind of remixed version of the original game, which was not in the Nintendo 64 release, but was in the GameCube release. They say it will be mirrored from the original incarnation and include new enemy placements, so basically it's an alternate version of the alternate version of the game, so that's kind of crazy. So even people who have played through the Master Quest will be seeing something new in this, so that's a big deal. Also, there's going to be video tutorial modes kind of similar to what New Super Mario Bros. Wii had, so there's that also for people who are maybe completely new to the game. So there's that. What else do we got? Oh, the PSP Go is officially dead. Let's play taps. Okay, enough of that shit. Yeah, the Sony has been putting an end to it, and they are ceasing production of their piece of shit PSP Go to focus on the upcoming NGP, or New Generation PlayStation console. The regular PSP still in development, obviously, but the PSP Go, in case you don't know, is a piece of shit. It's like, hey, it's a new PSP, except the screen's smaller, and it doesn't play any of your games. So, they've put an end to that. Speaking of Sony, I know I'm not going to be talking about the PSN outage, because I don't think that's a big deal. I mean, it is a big deal for people, but I mean, you guys already know about that. But here, this is some sad news, at least for me. The one game that made me very interested in getting a PlayStation 3 is delayed. The Last Guardian is now pushed back to a vague sometime in 2012. They say there are production reasons, so we don't know. Sometime in 2012, we'll finally get to play The Last Guardian. So, here's a quote from Fumito Ueda. He's the lead designer on the game. He says, I announced at last year's Tokyo Game Show that the release timing of The Last Guardian, which is currently being developed, would be holiday of 2011. However, to provide more challenging and better quality of content to users and to fulfill first-party studios' obligations, I decided to postpone its release timing. All the members of my production team are working together at a fast pace to develop and release the game in first-party studio quality. I sincerely apologize to all the customers who have been waiting for The Last Guardian for so long, but I beg you for your patience. I will announce the new release timing at a later time. So, the sequel to Alice, if you guys remember American McGee's Alice, it's getting a sequel called Alice: The Madness Returns, which is coming to Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and the PC. This is interesting. It also includes the entire original game, American McGee's Alice. It's going to be a download code type of thing, where you're going to get a download code with the purchase of the game, and you'll be able to get the game, I think, off of Steam. I think that you need Steam to get it. I'm not sure on that. But that'll be the first time that American McGee's Alice is hitting consoles. It was previously a PC-only thing, so that's kind of a big deal. So you might want to check that out if you're interested at all in the sequel to Alice or playing the original game now on a console. Here I have some news from Bethesda about the leveling in Skyrim. The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Todd Howard, I guess he works there. Doesn't say what his title is, but this is what he says about Skyrim's leveling system. The leveling is faster. Oblivion and Fallout 3, we think of them as 1 to 25 games. This is a 1 to 50. What that means is we just sped it up. It's not like it's going to take you longer. There are so many perks, and the power really comes from the perks. We wanted to get it going faster. He also says you level faster in the beginning and then it slows down. The soft cap is 50, but he says The game's mathematical level cap, or the hard cap, is probably somewhere in the 70s. But there won't be too much point to that because it's all about the perks, of course, and the perks stop after level 50. This is interesting. Somebody made a Neo Geo console out of wood, which is, kind of amazing. It's a working Neo Geo console out of wood, and you can get it for the typical Neo Geo price of $649 from the website Analog Interactive. I'm trying to bring up the URL here, but it's being a little bit of... it's just analoginteractive.com. If you have $650 to blow on a chunk of wood that plays Neo Geo games, hey, why not, right? If you have that much money to piss away, you might as well do it. I have some details about the new Super Mario game coming out for the 3DS, so far only called Super Mario, but I do have some things about it. Here's a quote from Shigeru Miyamoto. The tail you mentioned in the logo, it is what you think it is. You probably know what's going to happen using that character. Of course, we're referring to the raccoon tail appearing on the Super Mario logo, which means we're going to see a return of the raccoon suit or Tanuki suit. He also says it's a combination of Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario on the Nintendo 64. It won't convey the message if I talk to you today, but if you play it at E3, that will give you more understanding of what I'm talking about. And he also talks about the differences between 2D and 3D. He says, for example, the floor is floating in space. In 2D, it's difficult to judge the distance, but in 3D, it's really interesting. He says it will be completely original and coming this year. So that's kind of interesting there. Super Mario 3DS. Of course, we don't know what the real title is going to be. Right now it's just called Super Mario. Let's see, what else do I got here? Talked a lot last week about the next console for Nintendo, codenamed Project Cafe. Well, it seems that Sony and Microsoft aren't going to take this lying down, and they may have been forced into an announcement that they didn't want to make, but the rumor is currently that we'll be seeing new consoles from Microsoft and Sony to come sometime in 2014. So that's interesting. Here's an analyst called Michael Patchter saying, I don't think either Sony or Microsoft are interested in a new console till they can advance the technology, and they certainly don't want to launch at a $600 price point. It may take till 2014 to get 2 terabyte hard drives, uber-fast CPUs, and state-of-the-art graphics, and sell it at $400. So that's interesting. Things are percolating. I have some quotes from Seth Killian, it's Capcom's community manager, about Street Fighter Cross Tekken, talking about some details of the tagging aspect in the game. He says, if you lose anybody in this game, you've lost the round. That's a throwback to the Tekken tag system, where you've got to keep both players alive. So it's a dynamic as far as switching. You can't just focus on your one character. He says that there's also no built-in comeback mechanic. You tag in your partner using the focus attack buttons from Street Fighter 4. And the way that he loses, according to him, is by not managing his tagging as well as he should. It's not a completely safe process, and you have to use both characters to absorb whatever damage your opponent can dish out. One of the ways to sort of do it safely is doing it during a combo, so that kind of goes to what Marvel vs. Capcom 3 said. When asked about the look of the game, he says, to me it seems brighter and dirtier, like a little grungier almost. That's an artifact of the background that are finished. The destroyed landscapes of the Cyberbot mechs running around definitely lends itself to a grungy feel because it's destroyed buildings and rubble. He also said that the Tekken characters will have their own Street Fighter-style special moves, and the vice versa. Also, the Street Fighter characters will have their own Tekken-style moves. And finally, he's talking about the high-profile tournament players. He says, the scene is wiser and more poised for a bright future than it could possibly have been as a new kid back in the early 90s. I feel more optimistic now than ever before. Just the fact that it was able to come back like this points to the untapped well of enthusiasm. We're in good shape. So that's interesting. Also, apparently, SNK has no say in anything to do with the game, and I assume that Capcom would have no say in anything to do with Tekken Cross Capcom. So, Final Fantasy fans, hold on to your balls. I got some news. Final Fantasy III is now available for iPad. You can let go of your balls now. Here's from the press release. The iPad version follows on from the true successors. Why do these people write like this? It's like they can't even speak English. All right, let me try. The iPad version follows on from the success of the iPhone iPod Touch version. The iPad version of Final Fantasy III features fully remade 3D graphics, taking full examples of the platform's capabilities. The smooth, intuitive touch panel controls have been adjusted to the iPad. Sounds like it's based on the DS version, but with new controls. So there you have there. This is an interesting one. I really was looking forward to doing this story. For those of you who are out there who like to demonize video games, M-rated content getting in the hands of kids and everything, there was a study done by the Federal Trade Commission, and they say that video games industry are the strictest and most effective in enforcing age rating policies. They sent out a team of young kids to try and go and buy M-rated games from various stores. 87% of those spies were foiled in their attempt to purchase the game. This is a higher percentage than what they did with music with the parental advisory labels, R-rated movie tickets, and R-rated and unrated DVDs. So, in other words, stores are more likely to let your kids buy porn than they are to buy God of War. So what does that tell you? Here's a quote from Michael D. Gallagher, President and CEO of the Electronic Software Association, who do the ESRB ratings. The ESRB is the gold standard. Our self-regulatory system works, and this FTC report validates it as being the best in the entertainment industry. We have an unparalleled commitment to working with parents, retailers, and stakeholders, and will continue to help ensure that this remarkable level of enforcement remains high. And he also says, those who would criticize the industry's commitments are either ignorant to facts or are actively pursuing a political agenda, which of course I've been saying all along. We look forward to building on this level of success. So they're looking to get it even better. I just mentioned God of War. Speaking of, there's a rumor God of War 4 may be coming next year. This rumor comes out of the latest issue of the UK game magazine PSM3. They say it's in development and slated for release sometime next year. PSM3 has heard from another source that God of War 4 is coming and will hit in September 2012, is what they say. Well, the story seemingly ended in God of War 3. Well, it was a very successful game, so of course you would expect them to continue. So I have some Mega Man news, and this is good news. Mega Man Legends 3 is coming to the 3DS. We already knew about that, but if you want to play a demo of it, a free demo called Mega Man Legends 3 Prototype Version will be launching with the 3DS eShop. And if you want to see the game in action, there are screenshots, some video out there. You might want to check it out. So there you have it. And you can play the demo. GameStop will no longer be selling the DS Lite, which kind of makes sense since it's a few generations of handheld old, the DSi, DSi XL, now the 3DS. The DS Lite, even though, you know, it's sort of outdated now, it's still going for $129.99. Maybe there'll be a price drop. Nintendo are still selling the Nintendo DS Lite, but GameStop will not be doing it. This is what an internal memo from GameStop says. New DS Lite systems have been discontinued and stores will no longer be replenished on this product. So that's what they're going on about. Speaking of Nintendo, and I found this to be very cute, there's a Nintendo Monopoly board out there now. You can get it from thinkgeek.com. If you want to go directly to the page, it's thinkgeek.com/geektoys/game/CD9B. It's Nintendo Monopoly, goes for $35.99. The properties are NES games and characters. There's customized game board features like Mario, Donkey Kong, Zelda, Metroid, Kirby, Star Fox, Wario. It's still the same game it ever was. The little tokens, instead of, a thimble and a horse and a dog and all that, you have a mushroom, a Starman, Master Sword, Samus's helmet, Captain Olimar's ship, and a few other things, I think. So, it's pretty cool. Instead of chance and community cards, there's a question block, coin blocks, and it includes 60-minute speed play rules so that, the Monopoly game doesn't go on for hours and with you ripping your family and loved ones apart in a, blood-fueled rage, I guess. Here's some good news for fans of Chrono Trigger. If you enjoyed Chrono Trigger on Super NES, PlayStation 1, and the DS, here's a new way to play it. It might be coming for PSN. The ESRB has given a T rating to a PlayStation Network version of Chrono Trigger. Hasn't been officially announced yet, but usually when games get ESRB ratings, they kind of have to exist. So, who knows if it's based on the DS version or if it's a new version or what, but you may be able to play Chrono Trigger on your PlayStation 3 and PlayStation Portable sometime soon. Going back to internal memos, leaking out news, had one from GameStop. Here's one from Activision. I talked about this a little bit last week about the Guitar Hero series not being fully dead, just sleeping, and it seems that this is fully confirmed. Here is Eric Hirschberg, the Activision Publishing CEO, from an internal memo saying, "This is not a matter of lack of quality or poor execution. This is simply a matter of the market running out of appetite for this genre. Perhaps after a cooling period, we will revisit the franchise with fresh innovation." So, there you go. And finally in the news, there's another Mario and Sonic Olympics game coming out. Mario and Sonic 2012 Olympics game coming out for the Nintendo Wii and 3DS, including over 50 original Olympic theme events. Oh, sorry, I fell asleep there. It was just so boring. Okay, so yeah, there's a new Mario and Sonic at the Olympics game thing coming out. I don't know why they keep making... I guess because people keep buying them. People, stop buying these shitty Mario and Sonic at the Olympics games. Man, that's awkward to say. Let's get to the interview. Joe came by earlier this week. We talked about a wide variety of subjects, so let's bring him in. Great interview. You guys are going to love this. Here we go. And making his debut on the VMX show, we have Joseph John Taras Kushner.
Hello there.
We'll just call you Joe.
Yeah.
That's easier, right?
Yeah. Just,
Yeah. Joe, Crippy, you know how it is.
Oh, gotcha. That's how it is, huh?
Yeah, pretty much.
Coon-rific.
You guys know from, you guys should know Joe from the John and Joe show, which we'll probably do season 2 of sometime before the heat death of the universe.
Yeah, we got it for 2012.
before the Dream Theater drummer is announced.
Well, who knows? I mean, they're milking it really well.
Well, now they're having Drummergate the movie.
Drummergate the movie. You're gonna have, you're gonna see Mike Mangini, drop a drumstick. Thomas Lang eating some Wiener Schnitzel and
Wiener Schnitzel. In a world where one man bitches too much and leaves a band.
You'll see Mike Portnoy doing his best Charlie Chaplin with all disguises.
Okay, so it is the VMX show, so we should probably talk about video games. What have you been playing recently?
I've been bouncing around a couple titles. Of course, I've been playing Dragon Age 2.
Of course. How many times have you gone through that now?
Twice. But
so this is your third shot?
Yeah, but it's really I've missed some side quests, and there's you're wandering around in the game, and there's you pick up some scrolls, and you realize that they're actually quests.
Yeah,
it's intensive. It really.
I just finished up Origins and all the expansions and everything. Yep. I finished Witch Hunt and all that.
How'd you like Witch Hunt?
I did like Witch Hunt, except I felt at the end it was like, what the hell?
It's really short. Like, gotta go. Bye.
He's like, hey, Morgan, okay, see ya.
Where I'm going, you can't come.
Have fun with the weird baby in space or whatever.
Weird babies in space.
There you go. But no, I did start a new game.
Which one?
I started a new game of Dragon Age Origins. I'm also playing a different game, so I'm kind of alternating.
Oh, you're starting Origins again as a new character?
Yeah, well, it's like kind of a refined version of the character I was using before. I want to, just basically do things better.
You will.
And sort of experience some things that I missed, and play it on a higher difficulty and whatnot. So
it's a fun game.
Yeah, it is. It is a lot of fun, but I'm not playing it nearly as much because I'm also playing like Kirby's Epic Yarn,
nice.
And a bunch of other games. So I try not to play too many things at once. What else are you playing besides Dragon Age?
Of course, there's Halo Reach always thrown in there for a little bit.
Are you playing the online, or are you just messing around?
No, I'm just messing around. I don't feel like dealing with the kids from Kansas City. 14-year-old kid.
You shot me. You're a fag.
Yeah, seriously. Meanwhile, his mom was calling him for supper.
Yeah,
Nathaniel.
Only fags use weapons.
Yeah, I just don't have patience for that.
Who does, really? Except for the other kids. They love that. They feed off of it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Your hatred is like wine to me.
I can feel your hatred.
I'm turning into Woody Allen here. So what else have you been playing?
I went back to Left 4 Dead 2.
Having any better luck at that?
Well, the Left 4 Dead 2 has been fine. I've loved the game. I played on it, normal.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe in the future I might try the higher difficulties. But
that's right. Joe doesn't need hands to whip your ass at video games.
Actually, if it's what was it? Oh,
Gears of War.
Gears of War. Yeah. What was that?
You suck at that.
Oh, 1 minute. I went to the store. It was around Christmas time. And I always buy myself some Christmas presents, present for myself. And, I pop it, rip open the wrapper, I'm all excited. And it's like the most idiotic, retarded game for me.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense that you have to, the controls are just all boggled up.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't hit the scope, then your fires can strafe. I thought Transformers really had it right. War for Cybertron.
Yeah, that was a great game. I really liked playing through that.
It was, but it really had it great. If you don't have your scope on, you're going to still fire there, okay? You're still going to hit your target, but it won't be as effective. That doesn't mean I turn some sort of clod who can't shoot anything.
Just bullets spraying everywhere, the gun's going up in the air.
And it felt really stupid.
Yeah.
So, I think I still have it somewhere here in my pile of games and...
Pile of fuck there.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that you mentioned War for Cybertron, because I was going to ask you next what games are you looking forward to. And personally, and this is going to be a shock to some people, I'm actually very much looking forward to the video game that's going to be based on Transformers Dark of the Moon.
Yep.
And it's crazy, like, the first two movie games sucked hard. But this one's made by the same developer as War for Cybertron, which is an excellent game. And they said, while it will be refined, it's going to retain the core gameplay.
Yeah, it's not going to be, watch Bumblebee drive 35 minutes into the game. It's not going to be that.
Yeah, it's like, okay, you got to get here really fast. Okay, now protect this guy. Okay, now get over there really fast. I just want to shoot other robots. Why is that so hard?
Well, that's what was great about War for Cybertron, because it was unadulterated.
It was just constant action.
And I told you, it's actually kind of sad. You see your buddies all dripping energy. It's like, oh crap, you're really getting messed up.
There was the one level where you could actually heal them.
What? Oh, yeah. All of them, or just a couple?
Well, there's a couple that you could heal, but I noticed that they would tend to explode right when I got near them. They're allergic to me or something.
But you know what?
Just Optimus comes swooping down like, "Fear not, Autobot, I shall heal you." And he's like, "No!
I can't wait!" Boom!
Yeah, like, what the fuck was that?
Well, it's just too slow.
Well, sometimes I wouldn't notice them right away. I think that was what the problem was.
Yeah, sometimes they just explode no matter what.
I'd be like, oh, hey, look, there's a guy. Oh, and he blew up.
Yeah. I mean, they're really messed up,
Yeah, well, That's your fault for playing the Decepticon campaign in the first part of the game. You're the one who was shooting all of them.
See, I kind of like that, though, because, the game has a lot of symmetry.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It ends on the up note, okay, but really starts off where everything's going to hell in a handbasket.
Definitely. And I know, and they are working on a sequel to that, too, from what I understand, in addition to the Dark of the Moon game, so I also would look forward to hearing some news about that.
Well, I heard, along the same premises, I was Googling some stuff, and it's going to be refined, but still going to adhere to the similar...
yeah, basically like the same thing as Dark of the Moon.
Pretty much.
Now, I guess I'm revealing a lot here that we're recording this on Monday. Tomorrow, Mortal Kombat comes out. You're going to pick that up?
I'm debating. I haven't played... I've had a couple of titles lying around here. I'm trying to remember what was... I think it was like... Wow. I'm trying to remember the last Mortal Kombat game I played. That was the one where you could switch styles. Remember that?
There was a couple of them like that. You're probably thinking of either Deadly Alliance or Deception.
I want to say Deception. You could use weapons.
Deception, yeah. That was the best one, but this one looks like it's going to be even better.
And you could use weapons too, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was it.
I mean, there were a couple of them like that, but you're probably thinking of Deception.
Yeah, it's... A lot of the fighting games I do love.
This one is going kind of back to the roots where it's all on a two-dimensional plane. And it's very fast-paced action.
Oh, I don't have the psychotropic camera moving around 360 degrees, give me a headache.
Yeah, you won't have that anymore. I like the 3D ones. I like Deception quite a lot, but it's kind of cool to see it go back to its roots, but have a newer style of gameplay at the same time.
Yeah, and Mortal Kombat was the first one to really have really cleaned up, realistic graphics, I thought.
Well, they looked good at the time.
I mean, listen, everything... Come on, man. You know how it is with special effects. When Spawn came out, the movie, that looked great.
Oh, it looked great, but now you look at it and it's like a joke.
My 5-year-old kid can do better than that.
Yeah, probably, yeah. And this leads me to a discussion that I had. I don't know if you listened to the List Critics show that I did with Jesse, but we had a brief discussion about this. When you try with graphics to attain realism...
Yeah.
No matter what you do, it's going to be dated after a few years.
Well,
like Mortal Kombat 1, I remember when I saw that in the arcade for the first time, and it was like the most realistic thing that I'd ever seen in a game like that. I'd never seen graphics where they looked like real people, and there was blood like that.
Nope. Absolutely.
And now you look back, and it's like, it doesn't look very good. But some other games from the era, like Street Fighter 2, it still looks good because it was stylized. And I think when you go for that stylized graphics, you're playing it safe because it's always going to look the same to people.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, the new Mortal Kombat looks really good, so I think it's going to be a long time before we look back on it and say, oh, that looks like crap.
No, I mean... Yeah, as far as the game looks, it looks good. I've seen some of it, just some stills and some shots.
Some videos out there.
It looks pretty good. The one thing I always try to ascertain a little bit, because I do love buying the games. I'm a hoarder like that. Ooh.
You're definitely, you own things, Joe.
Ooh, so capitalistic of me.
Oh, no.
It's, I try to see if the controls are going to make sense for me.
Yeah.
When War for Cybertron, that's why I love the Halo games, because they really work really well. And some of the controls are, really geared for people with 5 digits on each hand.
Yeah. Which, you really only need 2 digits on each hand to play most modern games.
Yeah, but sometimes it's just really confounded.
Yeah. I'm one of those weirdos that I basically use my whole hand on the controller. Like, I don't know if you've ever noticed, but when I play, like, an Xbox 360 game, I lay, like, 3 of my fingers across the buttons, and that's how I play it.
Are you kind of, when you do that, are you kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? Are you kind of like, not rotating your finger, but kind of like moving your stump of flesh?
Well, I'm trying to be adaptive. Some games you could just play with thumbs just fine, but there are some games that require you press 2 buttons at the same time while moving the sticks in whatever direction. I find for like first-person shooters, it's good to have some extra fingers in there.
Yeah, so it's already covering your bases. You just move your...
Yeah, like BioShock, I hold the controller in a way that's very unconventional. Probably because when it comes to first-person shooters, my background is a keyboard.
Yeah. Well,
that's what I'm used to.
That's a good thing. It's funny. I guess in a way, I kind of do the same thing with my my Xbox controller.
Hand poofs of flesh.
My hand poofs of flesh. It sits there. Because on my right hand I have a part wrist, so
yeah,
and a part of a palm, full wrist, part of a palm. So I kind of just have it sitting right on the controller pad. And whatever, if it's the X or Y or A or B, I kind of just shift a little bit and I'm already touching it.
Yeah.
So I guess
exactly.
it's the same thing. And then the right, my left hand will handle the other controller and all that nonsense.
Now here's something I wanted to ask you about. I want to talk about the Kinect a little bit. Because this is something that I know you were kind of looking into as something that would be really good for you.
Yeah.
And it's kind of turned out to be a bit of a joke.
Yeah.
Because the kind of games that you play are not on the Kinect.
No, and kind of games that, I was reading somewhere, I don't know if it was in GameStop's magazine, where I think they're talking something about that type of technology. Well, they're talking about the new Wii, right? Wii.
Yeah, the Project Cafe that's kind of rumored right now.
And the premise was that for games that I like, okay, RPGs, first-person shooters, it's really not conducive to be full body motion.
Exactly. Yeah. What are you going to do? Point your hand and go pew pew pew.
That would be kind of funny. It reminds me of that Futurama episode. Remember that? You're in virtual reality.
Oh, yeah. New from the makers of virtual reality, actual reality.
He's trying to mimic the shotgun, so he just cocks his forearm.
You gotta make the sound, too.
It does.
Now, I wanted to ask your opinion on something. I had a previous guest on here who was telling me about this news story about a woman who was handicapped. She has cerebral palsy and confined to a wheelchair. And she got the Kinect, and it didn't even recognize her.
Are you serious?
And of course, yeah, because basically you have to be standing up.
Yeah.
It's not meant to be played in a seated position. So, and that's the thing. Most gamers are sitting on their couch or whatever.
Yep.
So she's sitting in her wheelchair, obviously confined. And she, the story was kind of funny because she was way more upset than she should have been. Because it's like, well, what do you expect? Because she was really aggravated about it. But I watched it and I can understand her frustration because she, her kids were playing and her husband was playing it and she wanted to play with them. And she won't even see her as being there.
In terms,
of course, she blew that up into the Xbox doesn't think I'm a person.
Well, I think that's a whole different other discussion about how people can really get bent out of shape in terms of their handicap and how it relates to normal society. And I said normal society.
Yeah.
Because the average person has 4 limbs and can move and ambulate. So I think if you're disabled or have some sort of malformity, you really can't get bent out of shape if something's not conducive for you. That's a great thing that I think right now is going on, because now games and gamers are kind of are trying to find ways to be to reach out the whole public.
It's very true, and I mean, Kinect is a step in that direction, but I don't think it works properly.
No, and
the technology's not really there yet.
No, and I think that things like Kinect, I think, aren't going to be realized till later on. It just, I mean, like I said, what are you going to do? You can have a Kinect for Halo. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I don't see that. You'll never replace a controller completely. I mean, you can augment a controller. And from what I've heard, Nintendo's strategy for Project Cafe, or whatever this next console is going to be called, is to have, sort of a regular controller that will have motion options, but it's not like a remote like the Wii is. As a matter of fact, from what I've heard, the damn thing has a 6-inch plasma screen TV on it.
What?
Yeah, can you believe that?
Oh my, Lando Calrissian will be proud of us.
Yeah, they're saying that you could stream games directly to the controller and play them on the controller because it has a fucking TV on it.
Cloud City, motherfucker.
There you go. There you go, yeah. I think we've surpassed Star Wars at this point.
Well, yeah, I mean, another thing is it's supposed to be in a galaxy, long, long ago.
Yeah. I think we have better shit than they had in Star Wars. We may not have lightsabers.
Yeah, I want the lightsabers and the force powers. That's what I want, so.
Wow, now you're looking for magic. Maybe you ought to get a book of magic or something. But, yeah, I thought, I did want to, I want to almost reach out to this woman and tell her you have to calm down, because she's sitting in her wheelchair.
Uh-huh.
And she's flailing, understandably, because she has palsy and she can't help it. It's not her fault.
Yeah.
But, the Xbox Kinect is telling her, stand up and hold your arms out. Because that's how it recognizes. And she's like, I am holding my arms out. And I want to tell her, first off, no, you're not. Second of all, you're not standing. You shouldn't have bought the Kinect.
No, she shouldn't have. And then also, you have to...
I guess her kids enjoy it.
Yeah, but you know what? She has to realize that there are just certain games that she can't play.
It's very true, yeah.
Not to get old zen on you, but I think that once you realize there are certain things you can't do, true acceptance, then life does just goes by a little easier.
And this is the path of the true Jedi.
Anger leads to, what was that thing?
Pass the joint, Chewie.
To connect.
Yeah, I mean, you were very optimistic about the Kinect, and I had a feeling that it was kind of going to be a joke.
What?
But, hey, at least they're outselling the PlayStation Move.
Oh, God.
They're outselling that by 5-1.
Yeah, I don't know. That's probably part and parcel because the Xbox is just so popular. And it's...
Well, the PlayStation's starting to gain popularity, but when they release something that's so clearly carbon copy of what the Wii has already done without even trying to do something original like Microsoft did. It may not have been a complete success, but at least they tried something new.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, and this technology is proven to have a lot of applications outside of gaming. They're using it in laboratories. They're using it in operating rooms. I mean, and this is something that was designed to fucking play Tony Hawk, I mean.
Well, I think you kind of hit something, because I think that type of technology, I don't think people realize that things like the Kinect will be good for people who are disabled, because they're using Bluetooth technology right now for prosthetic limbs and legs.
The problem is that right now they're aiming it at gamers who are, and they have to be able to stand up and they have to have 4 limbs, as you say.
Yeah. And
So the technology, as you say, certainly can have many applications to help the handicapped. It just has to be modified.
Well, yeah, and not to mention, I think people need a little patience, because this thing the technology's still...
It's new.
Yeah.
It's brand new. It just came out this year, pretty much.
I think that's why it's exciting living in this type of time, because...
Absolutely.
When you look at the type of games that came out, all right, let's be realistic, people. Games are just getting better, all right?
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, I grew up on, playing Space Invaders and all those other games of the arcade. I mean, I was an arcade kid.
Yeah, and that's fun for 20 minutes.
20, well,
well, how long can you play Space Invaders?
Well, okay, I was a little kid, right? And then, really, then that's when the games that I was interested in started coming out. The games I was interested in. For, Double Dragon came out later on. Exactly. And then Street Fighter, which I loved. Yeah. And Tekken was I think just right after that. And then, I'm sorry, not Tekken, excuse me, Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, not Tekken, Mortal Kombat. Tekken was a little later, because that was a 3D one.
Yeah, and Tekken 1 wasn't it wasn't 3D, I don't think.
No, yeah, it was. You could move in and out of the screen and everything.
Yeah, I don't remember it too well.
Well, it sucked.
I guess that's what I think of that.
To be honest, I don't really like the Tekken games.
I remember there's some cool Capcom games, were basically, I mean, I guess you could call it, for lack of a better word, a Street Fighter ripoff, but using a supernatural motif. You're playing.
Oh, I think you're talking about Darkstalkers.
I think so. That was fun.
Yeah. Darkstalkers. I'd like to see that return. You see the Darkstalkers characters appear sometimes with the Street Fighter characters in like Marvel vs. Capcom, but they haven't made a new one since Vampire Savior, and that was way back on PlayStation 1.
Yeah, I mean, I remember playing that many moons ago, and many quarters were shed for that game, I'll tell you.
Oh yeah, it was a good game. I've never actually played it in the arcade, but I played it on PlayStation. It's a damn good game.
I think that's the thing about the arcade, that type of experience. I know they're still around.
Not really. They're going the way of the dodo, really.
The point is that I think they've been gone. But now when I was a kid, you had arcades and you had video games at your local pizzeria. That was just the way of life.
Yeah, I mean, and it was a scene too. The arcades were hangouts.
Oh yeah, and not to mention, I mean, like for Street Fighter 2, when that came out, let me tell you, I mean, we always measure ourselves by the best kid, if we were able to beat the best kid, even once.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay?
That's true.
And everyone always have some legendary tales that he won some sort of Street Fighter championships.
Oh, yeah. And Shenlong and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. And that's the thing, I think that that type of interaction with people in games is it's lacking, even though you have an interactive experience with your Xbox Live and all that. Because, you were playing alongside other people.
Well, I have people, I gotta be with the person because you lose that personability. Like, somebody will say to me, like, oh, let's play Street Fighter 4, and I'm like, yeah, come on over.
Yeah, come on over. Bring some Pepsi, bring some chips. Let's have...
Yeah, it's true, because it used to be a social thing.
Yeah, and I think that's what's getting away from gaming. In reality, just like everything else, it's a reflection of society. So I think that now, especially with every little piece of iPhone technology that comes out every 3 minutes, it's great in a way because we are connected. It allows people to be more isolated than ever.
It's very true. Each man in an island unto himself.
Yeah, amen. And I think, unfortunately, that extends to gaming, and not to mention growing up. Yeah. The kids who are more interested in games were your nerds.
Yeah, basically, pretty much. Now it's the people who made fun of you for playing games. That's who everything's targeted at.
Oh yeah, and I mean, nerds inherited the earth. That's what happened.
Pretty much, definitely.
But yeah, I think that's the problem that's kind of lacking. But like I said, that's to me a reflection of what's going on with society as a whole.
Absolutely, that's very insightful, I think.
Well, thank you. I'm here to offer, some insightful jargon every once in a while.
Old-timey wisdom. Anything else that you're that's coming out that you're looking forward to? Just to go back to that.
Okay, not that I heard anything definitive, but I would love. I've been keeping abreast of what Left 4 Dead's doing.
Yeah,
and I think it's a great game. I think that I've been playing that a lot recently. The first one's good, but what I love about the second one, and through the add-ons and downloadable content, you can actually play. What was it? No Mercy. That's when you're battling through the hospital scene, going to the hospital.
Yeah.
Which, you know what, guys? If there's ever a zombie apocalypse, seriously, don't go to the hospital. All right.
Yeah. Don't barricade yourself somewhere.
Yeah. Well, that was great too, because you
go to the woods or something.
In the first one, they had every almost zombie or horror movie cliche in there.
Of course.
Yeah.
The
Last Stand at the Farmhouse.
Like Night of the Living Dead.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it was great. And
you mentioned Left 4 Dead. Have you seen anything of this Dead Island that's coming out?
Dead Island? No. Is that good?
It looks amazing. It's going to be for PC, Xbox 360, and PlayStation 3. The graphics look beyond what you're used to, And it's a zombie game that takes place on a tropical resort island.
Oh, that's great.
You have to think, if there's a worldwide zombie apocalypse, it's not always going to be the middle of nowhere or the cities. It's going to be the nice places, too.
Well, yeah.
And it seems to be patterned after Left 4 Dead, where everything is a weapon and it's mostly melee combat.
Nice.
But it's in first person.
Oh, wow, that's nice.
Which I think that if you're going to do a horror game,
Uh-huh.
I think more horror games should be in first person because you can't see what's behind you.
Well, it's like real life, okay? If you're
Yeah, exactly. It's good for immersion, and when you're doing something that's horror based,
Yep.
you need that immersion.
Yeah, because third person is really some sort of out of body experience.
Exactly. Exactly.
And
It's the difference between controlling the character and being the character.
exactly. But yeah, to get back to your question, Left 4 Dead, I'm keeping abreast of that. I'm keeping
Yeah.
Mass Effect.
Skyrim, I know you're looking forward to
Oh
Skyrim.
yeah, I mean, how long have we been waiting for that?
5 years.
And we were big Elder Scrolls fans.
Oblivion, Morrowind, Daggerfall, that shit.
I mean, that's just great. And I think Fallout's another game that I've been playing a lot. Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, and I love it a lot. And I think that I heard for this they just used a totally new engine for Skyrim. But they used it.
Yeah, this is the first one not to use the Gamebryo engine since because Morrowind, Oblivion, Fallout 3, they all use the same engine.
Yeah, pretty much.
So this is brand new, and everything that I've seen of it tells me that this is going to be better than Oblivion was, because as great as Oblivion was, I preferred Morrowind. But I think this is going to be better than Morrowind as well.
And you see, that's what I think that's what games like Oblivion, Fallout 3, 4, well, New Vegas is 4 really, but
I guarantee you they'll release a Fallout 4 later on.
well, of course,
They always do that shit with the numbers.
I mean, I understand they're saying it's not a true follow-up, but numbers don't mean anything now. You could have one.
It's true. Like when I saw the title Fallout New Vegas, I assumed it was an add-on for Fallout 3. I mean, if you remember, we had that discussion.
Yep. I mean, it's just, I don't know, guys. Just keep it straight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, guys. It's not that hard.
I mean, look, Mega Man did it. I mean, yeah, they fucked up eventually, but we got Mega Man 9 and 10 eventually. Why not?
I mean, it just makes things a little easier. I mean, you want to be able, after you're done with, 10, then you want to do, New Vegas, New Mexico, whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
Then you can start using the
Fallout New Mexico.
Yeah, Fallout, Vegas Vacation, whatever the hell.
Vegas Vacation. There you go.
Chevy Chase.
One last thing to mention: Street Fighter versus Tekken. Your thoughts on that?
Have
you seen the footage?
No. How is it?
It seems to place a lot of emphasis on tag teaming, not just in the sense that you switch characters, but that the other character will actually come out and assist you. Like what they show is Ryu will call in Chun-Li, and she'll do like a kick and like a bunch of kicks, and then push the character towards Ryu where he's hitting him with the fireball. And they showed the Tekken characters doing something similar, where they team up, not just doing their attacks at the same time, but doing them in tandem, which I think is a new thing for fighting games.
So single person's playing a tandem pair. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Stuff like that is really kind of helping video games expand their horizons, because
absolutely.
Like I was saying before, things that you're seeing in Oblivion did this, where you had it's an RPG, okay?
Of course.
It's an RPG, but RPGs don't have to suck, okay?
No, absolutely. No genre has to suck.
No, and what I mean by that, guys, and I don't want to hear you guys track me down. I mean, I played, I played, the KOTOR series, Knights of the Old Republic, which I loved. But the thing what I'm getting at is the action, okay? Because you don't want to be sitting there belaboring for 5,000 years what type of logistics to use in your party, Okay, and
Well, some people like that. I play a lot of strategy RPGs.
no, I'm
so-
not saying that's a bad thing. What I'm saying is, like for example,
No, you prefer the Western RPGs, the more action-oriented one. I mean, look at what you play. You play Dragon Age, you play Oblivion, you mentioned Knights of the Old Republic.
well, yeah, and what I'm getting at is that, you know, when you saw the change from Dragon Age 1, you haven't played 2 yet, so
No, I haven't. No.
I'm not going to spill the beans on that, but the action, you know,
I was reading about how it's more hardcore,
yeah, basically.
but it's also more accessible, from what I understand.
Well, yeah, because I think it's presenting RPG in a nice way. You know, everything. Look, you know, you get more strength. It's natural. You're going to have more damage in your attacks, and you can pick up more.
Yep.
It just makes sense. You know, you have a better weapon, a sharper blade. You'll be able to cut a little faster. Okay.
There you go.
So I think that that's kind of exciting what you're seeing with RPGs.
I don't think this is related to you, but I just noticed somebody on my Sky buddy list has the message "Joe sucks." I think that's another guy, though.
You suck, man.
Yeah, that Joe sucks, man.
Why'd you have him on your show, Necro?
Yeah, I don't think it's aimed at you. This guy. I mean, I'm not even talking to him.
Hey, story of my life.
There you go, Joe sucks. Well, it was great having you on.
Thank
It
you.
was a long time coming. We had to just organize it. That's all.
Hey, you know, it was fun, and
And hey, you were on the season finale.
that's right. I'm rocking out the last show with you. So,
Yep. Well, the last show until season 4, at least.
well, exactly.
We're not quitting.
No, of course not. You're just having a
6 weeks, we'll be back.
a nice hiatus, but not like that Mike Portnoy hiatus.
Oh, there we go. Okay, so back to the show then.
Yep, have fun.
And of course, a special thanks to my friend Joe for coming on the season finale of the show. A little Odin Sphere music for you there. Before the interview, played a little Double Dragon. That's one of his favorite classic games. I figured I'd throw that in there. He's always humming that theme. Walks around, you know. So yeah, I wanted to talk about the hiatus before we get to the end of the show, which will be the sales figures as usual. It's going to be 6 weeks, and basically twice a week I'll be uploading a show from Season 1. Now, I want you to leave your questions and comments and everything on this show, this video, because that's the one that I'm going to be using when I come to Season 4, Episode 1. I'm going to be looking at questions and comments. I'm going to be looking at, of course, what was sent to me in PMs, channel comments, and whatever, but also what was posted on this show. So keep in mind that when you write your question or comment on this show, you're not going to get an answer for 6 weeks. I might answer you on the thing, but keep in mind that it's not going to be read for 6 weeks. So don't be like, too in the moment. And of course, I know I'm going to get people doing this anyway, but keep in mind that what I'm going to be uploading, the Season 1 stuff are going to be old shows. They're from like a year and a half ago. So like nothing in it is going to be topical. It's just going to be for people who wanted to hear it, and to give you something to listen to in the 6 weeks. For anybody who missed out on season 1 because it's no longer available for download, and it will not be available for download. There won't be MP3s of it, but you'll be able to listen to it on YouTube. So that's just to get it out there so it's available. There are sites that can rip MP3s from YouTube videos, but So let's get to the video game charts, and also I'm going to do the release calendar since this is the last show I'll be doing in April. We'll do the release calendar for the next 2 months or so. So let's take a look at the software charts. This is the top 10 best-selling games in America for the week ending in April 16th. The number 1 best-selling game was Pokemon Black and White version for the DS. Sold 115,134 units. And number 2, Michael Jackson The Experience for Xbox 360 sold 95,831 units. And number 3, Kinect Adventures for the Xbox 360 sold 93,678 units. At number 4, Just Dance 2 for the Wii sold 67,160 units. At number 5, Wii Sports for the Wii sold 64,119 units. At number 6, Lego Battles Ninjago for the DS sold 59,947 units. At number 7, Wii Sports Resort for the Wii sold 55,228 units. At number 8, Michael Jackson The Experience for the Wii sold 46,371 units. At number 9, Zumba Fitness for the Wii sold 42,041 units. And at number 10, Wii Fit Plus for the Wii sold 40,335 units. A very odd week. It was almost all motion games. I mean, you had 2 Michael Jacksons, Kinect Adventures, Just Dance 2, Wii Sports Resort, Wii Fit Plus, Zumba Fitness, all that shit. Very weird chart from America. In Japan, the top 10 best-selling games for the week ending in April 17th. Number 1 is Dai 2 G Super Robot Tizen Z Hakai Hen for the PlayStation Portable sold 300,289 units. And number 2, Pro Yaku Spirits 2011 for the PS3 sold 87,116 units. And number 3, Dragon Quest Monsters Joker 2 Professional for the DS sold 84,062 units. At number 4, Pro Yaku Spirits 2011 for PSP sold 73,193 units. At number 5, Persona 2 Tsumi for the PSP sold 61,896 units. At number 6, Pilot Wings Resort for the 3DS sold 26,803 units. At number 7, Homefront for PS3 sold 21,757 units. At number 8, Chikyu Bonai-gun 2 Portable for PSP. That sold 18,022 units. At number 9, Pro Yaku Spirits 2011 for 3DS sold 12,316 units. And at number 10, Shin Sangoku Musu 6 or Dynasty Warrior 7 for PS3 sold 10,039 units. The top 10 best-selling games in Europe for the week ending in April 16th. Pokemon Black and White for DS, 89,484 units. At number 2, Wii Sports Resort for the Wii, 41,407 units. At number 3, Wii Sports for the Wii, 38,244 copies of that. Number 4, Wii Fit Plus for the Wii, 30,216 copies sold. At number 5, Crysis 2 for Xbox 360, 27,888 copies. And number 8, Wii Party for the Wii, 27,455 of those. At number 7, Zumba Fitness for the Wii, 27,095 of those. At number 8, Crysis 2 for PS3, 24,944 copies. At number 9, Homefront for the Xbox 360, 19,955 copies. And number 10, Little Big Planet 2, making a return for PS3, sold 19,602 copies. For hardware charts, in America, the top-selling console, once again, the 3DS, 90,598 units sold. Followed by the Xbox 360, 78,938 units sold. Followed by the Wii with 64,119 units. The PlayStation 3 sold 56,635 units. The DS, 49,567 units. And the PSP, 17,814 units. In Japan, the highest-selling console was the 3DS, 28,461 units. Followed by the PSP with 24,495 units. The PlayStation 3, 22,606 units. The DS, 15,602 units. The Wii, 8,236 units. And the Xbox 360, 1,918 units. In Europe, the number one best-selling console of the week was the PlayStation 3, 66,337 units, followed by the 3DS, 62,372 units. The Wii, 49,080 units. The Xbox 360, 45,362 units. The DS, 40,614 units. And the PSP, 20,383 units. So worldwide, the best-selling console of the week was the 3DS, followed by PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, Wii, DS, and PSP was last. So let's get to those the release charts, because like I said, that this is the last show for 6 weeks, so let's do this. So let's see, April, I already did the April chart, so I don't need to look at that again. So let's look at the video games that are going to be released in May. May 3rd, we'll see the release of MotorStorm Apocalypse for the PlayStation 3, and Thor God of Thunder for Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, Wii, and the DS. May 10th sees the release of Brink, that's coming to PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and Windows. The First Templar for Xbox 360 and Windows. Lego Pirates of the Caribbean, the video game for Windows, Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, Wii, PSP, and the DS. MX vs. ETV Alive coming to Xbox 360 and PS3. And Virtua Tennis 4 coming to Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and Wii. May 17th, we'll see the release of Deep Black for Windows, Xbox 360, and PlayStation 3. Fable 3 will be coming to Windows. L.A. Noire will be coming to PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. And The Witcher 2 Assassins of Kings will be coming out for Windows. On May 24th, Dirt 3 will be coming to Windows, Xbox 360, and PlayStation 3. Fear 3 will be coming to Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and Windows. Kung Fu Panda 2 will be coming to PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, Wii, and the DS. And on May 31st, we'll see the release of Hunted the Demon's Forge for PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and Windows, Red Faction Armageddon for Windows, Xbox 360, and PlayStation 3, and The Sims 3 Generations for Windows and Mac. Here's the releases in June. The show will be coming back sometime in June, but here's the releases anyway. Infamous 2 will be coming out on the 7th for PlayStation 3. Also, Operation Flashpoint Red River for Xbox 360, Windows, and PlayStation 3. On June 13th, Wii Play Motion will be hitting the Wii. On the 14th, Alice, the Madness Returns will be coming to PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and Windows. Child of Eden will be coming to PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. Duke Nukem Forever will supposedly be coming out for PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and Windows. And Transformers Dark of the Moon will be coming out for Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, Wii, and the DS. On June 19th, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 3D will be coming out for the 3DS. And on the 21st, Dungeon Siege 3 will hit Windows, Xbox 360, and PlayStation 3. Shadows of the Damned will be hitting PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. And Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell compilation will be coming out for the PlayStation 3. So there you have it. So that's going to be it. That's the show. That's the season. Hope you enjoyed it. We're going to end it with one of my very favorite ending themes from a video game ever. Here's Mega Man 3. Had a great time. Enjoyed every minute of it. Hope to see you guys Season 4. We're going to have another great season. Even better, hopefully. VMX out.
Okay. Now,
Okay.
great. I'm here.
All right, here we go. Gotta get the phlegm out. I went to shul. I majored in phlegm.
Yeah, all the phlegm, it's the cough.
I felt a little verklempt when I had to leave phlegm school.